Welcome back to the Sankofa series. I'm your host, Tanisha Miss T. Morrison, owner and visionary of the Empower Her Experience. Today, our Reach Back and Fetch It Sankofa series features the amazing and honorable Mrs. Unitha L. Muhammad. Miss Unitha is a healing coach and counselor at the Healing Specialist. The Healing Specialist specializes in helping you go from being a public success and private mess to thriving in every area of your life. They do this by helping you receive clarity, strategies, insight, healing, and spiritual guidance to live an abundant life. This will be done through a customized package of life coaching, counseling, and inner healing sessions. If you desire every area of your life to flow harmoniously, then let the Healing Specialist partner with you on your journey of healing and transformation from the inside out. It's time to do your core work. The Healing Specialist motto is, we partner with you to transform personally and spiritually into who God has created you to be. Unitha encourages people as a minister, life purpose coach, and prophet. She helps people make the necessary internal shifts to walk in authenticity. Minister Unitha also helps individuals identify who they are in Christ and how that impacts every area of their lives. She is a gifted strategist and leader. She facilitates coaching, counseling, couples counseling, and healing sessions. Welcome, Miss Unitha.
Hello, it's so awesome to be here.
Yes, I love your background. It's so inspiring. I'm looking at, what is that? So blessed.
Yes.
So grateful. I love
Yes.
that.
Thank you. This is my office. Yes.
Oh, it's so
got my vision boards.
Yeah. I love it. Vision boards. You got inspirational messages. Above your head, I think that says, what does that say? Be the good.
Be the good.
I love it. And the hair, honey. Woo.
Oh, thank you.
Looking really, really, really good. So we go way back.
Yes.
I've been blessed to know you and your husband, Pastor O, a lovely couple, for over 12 years. It's been
it doesn't even seem like it's been that long. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah. When I met you all, I was in an interesting place in my life. I would say that I was in a space of like coming out of depression and stepping into an unfamiliar place of happiness or trying to step into that. And I think within these 12 years, you've seen me kind of go from broken, healing, healed, battling, happy and at peace, defeated to kind of like a place of calm. So really through the ebb and flow, I just really appreciate you. I appreciate Pastor O. And I just want to humbly say thank you. I know I've, definitely tried to do my best in allowing you to know how much I appreciate you and what you do in my life. But publicly on this platform, I just want to say thank you so much, Unitha.
Oh, thank you, Tanisha. You've always been inspiring to me. Just the fact of you, you always keep going, your resilience, and how you're just, I see you as a light that helps bring others into the light. And so that's how I see you. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Now, can you share a little bit about your company, the Healing Specialist, and how you and your team are able to help like women like me, people like me, just people in general, who are kind of figuring out their life journey?
Well, with the Healing Specialist, which was founded by Pastor O and I several years ago, it started out as OUM Consulting, and then we changed it up. But we help people through counseling and coaching. That's what we do a lot. I specialize in healing, which is healing from childhood trauma or issues or things that happen. We kind of take you back to your childhood, and then we heal some of those areas and help you come out differently. And that process is through prayer and counseling techniques that we do that. It's called inner healing prayer and inner healing sessions. And we help people. Most people come to us because there's a need. I'm stuck. I'm in a crazy relationship, I don't know what my purpose is.
Yeah.
And we just begin to walk with you to help you discover. What I love about coaching is we don't tell you what to do. We have the art of asking great questions. And
Yeah.
you know that because I know you've been certified as well. And
Yes.
so that's what I love. I love what I do, and I would do it for free if I wasn't getting paid.
Nice, nice. And something that I love about you and Pastor O is that in your approach, your delivery, you two are very authentic. You're very relatable. It doesn't seem like, you have to kind of go into these sessions, if you will, with kind of cutting the corners of your story. I think you
Yes.
really can come in and be very transparent with no judgment. And you two are really able to get to the root of the cause, in my opinion.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes,
really
we
love
we we do that intentionally. Number one, because we're two very authentic people,
it.
and we don't mind sharing our story,
Yeah.
and the things we've been through. And I think that's why a lot of people are attracted to us. A lot of people in your age group, actually, we have a lot of young people that not like I'm old, but I'm old enough, and
The
in my
millennials.
50s. Yeah. And so a lot of young people in their 30s, late 20s really like to talk with us and work with us because we are very authentic and we don't judge. And we talk about being love and walking in love. And if you're talking about from a standpoint of spiritually, if we don't show love to one another, then how can people be helped, or how could people be
Yeah.
healed without judging? Because, it says, let God judge, and God judges us in love. That's how I feel. I never feel like I'm being beat up on by God. So why should I feel like I need to beat up on anyone for their healing and their transformation?
Yes. Yes. And I appreciate that. And I'm sure your clients appreciate that as well. So I heard you say, you work a lot with millennials and
Mhm.
younger generations. Would you say that's your ideal client? And is that the demographic that you two not really cater to, but specialize in helping that
I
demographic?
I think it may be not intentionally, but it's kind of
Mhm.
morphed into that. I think because we have, in some cases, um, we may take on the mother father role for some people. Then
Yes.
for others, we may take on the auntie uncle role. And for some, we may take on the big sis, big brother role.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's how people see us and how
Yeah.
they relate to us. And I think it's like, how can you be a pastor and be so cool?
Yeah.
How could you be?
And that's one thing I love. Hey.
Yeah, we can be cool and still be holy,
Yeah.
and not be religious. Omar and I are not religious. We're very open and we're very approachable, and we just don't walk around with a big fat Bible doing all that, but
Mhm.
we live it. And we teach people how to live out their spirituality in their everyday lives. And so in a very real way, how sometimes when you go to church, it feels like you have all these things that you're required to do, but it
Yeah.
seems so outside of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
But our walk with God is about who we are, who God has made us to be, and us showing up the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that in that you two really allow for not just your clients, but the people around you, your community, your supporters, your congregation, your friends, your family. I think you really just allow them to be who they are and allow them to figure out who it is that they're looking to become, who they are in that moment. Like I said, when I met you two, it was like open arms. And I was like, here I am in all my flaws and all I am, but I'm also trying to navigate, this journey. And I think that you two have been an integral part of that. So
I
with
do
your
want to
clients.
add to that,
Yeah, go ahead.
Tanisha. I was just thinking, I'm gonna tell you, it was about a month or two ago, and you came across my mind. And one of the things that touched me so much is when you did this dance at the church and you did this
Mm.
praise dance. And it was one of the most beautiful dances I've ever seen,
Oh, wow.
because I knew it was from your heart, it was from your experience.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that, and I just got teary-eyed, and I just started praying for you. I just started
Thank
praying for you in that moment, because I was like, what I love about you is that whatever you do it with all your heart. You're a
Yeah.
very intentional person, and you're very loyal and kind, and you
Thank
just
you.
want everyone to win. But
I
in that moment when you were doing that dance, I felt like you were giving to God, like, I surrender all and I give it all to you, and all that I am, and it doesn't even matter what I look like, whatever, this is who I am. And I just felt like it was such a beautiful representation that when I think about it, it just brings me to tears, and it's something that I carry with me.
yeah.
And I think that when we're doing work with people, it's very important that part of the work is surrender, is that when you know it's time for you to get your life together, the
Yeah.
first thing you got to do is just surrender.
Yes.
I, I'm tired of doing it my way. I'm
Mhm.
sick of tired of being sick and tired of
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stop looking at everybody else as the problem. And I'm gonna say, what is going on with me, And when you're at that place, which you've been at that place, I've seen you be at that place, Tanisha, that's where transformation can begin. And
Yeah.
that's where you will start to see the change, and God will lead you to the people who can help facilitate that for you. And I think that's very important, and important for your listeners to know. It starts with just a surrendered heart.
Yes. And I totally agree. I think that when we're in a place of surrender, in a place of vulnerability, in a place of um, being okay with people seeing that, we can be down in the valley,
Yes.
until we get to whatever our mountaintop is. But being able to be okay at surrendering is very vital for any life journey. And I think also understanding that you may have to surrender more than a few times.
Yes. Oh, you go surrender a lot in your journey. Be prepared for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember, back then, this is like really 2011 or 2012, around then.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember you used to call me an evangelist, and I
Mhm.
was like, I could never really accept that calling on my life,
Mm.
because I had my own like roller coaster relationship with God and self identity and spirituality, and who am I to lead God's people in a sense. But I've always had that desire to serve God's people in my own like unique way. But you always just kind of believe that you're an evangelist, whether you want to take it and run with it or not, that is who you are. But for some of the people who, you know, don't really know, you need the healing specialist. What is it that you see in people? Not necessarily me in that example, but what is it that you typically will see in people, or what does spirit show you or tell you where you're able to kind of like prophesize over people?
Well, the gift of prophecy is moment by moment, person by person. And for me, when I'm in the presence of people, I begin to pick things up. I hope I'm being clear, because it's my speak in my head.
Yeah.
I begin to pick up things that God will show me about the person I'm in front of. And there are moments when I start seeing things, I'll say, do you want me to share this, or do you want me to pray? Pray for them, because
Mhm.
sometimes I'll see things and it's about me just praying for the person. And then sometimes it's for me to deliver a message. And I'm really good, and maybe that's because I'm a life coach and I'm a minister and all these things, that I can see into who God is calling people to be. I
Mhm.
can see their purpose. I could see the hand of God on their lives and where God is leading them. So even when I see that, I feel like, just to take it back to what you said, Tanisha, you are an evangelist. When the whole empower her, sometimes when we hear certain terms, we can look at it and think church house and think, if I hear evangelist, I gotta have a mic. But no, it's evangelist is to go out and spread the good news. And what you do, you are good at connecting people and leading people and guiding people. You are a person that people are attracted to, and you are able to lead them to better and lead them to God and lead them to the things that God would have for them. Because what does the word says? That's what's in my bio. I've come that you may have life, and that life more abundantly. And you help people get to abundant living. And that is a part of the evangelistic call. And so you are being it. And that's what I usually, with people, I can see that. And I can see like, oh, you're a teacher, or you're a healer, or
Mhm.
you're creative,
Yeah.
and I can see these things about people, but I have to be in their presence or on the line. Even if I'm on something like a Zoom, I'll start to get things. And it's interesting when you try to explain it to someone who doesn't have that particular gift, but
Mhm.
I usually see in flashes like pictures,
Uh-huh.
or I hear words.
Wow.
And so it's either
That's
like a
powerful.
picture, like a slideshow, or words. And then I begin to speak what I see or what I hear.
Wow.
Mhm.
So there's something I want to bring up, that in 2020, I don't know if you remember this, but in 2020, you sent me a random email
Mm,
in 2020. And we hadn't really spoken a while.
no.
We were keeping up through social media and,
Uh-huh.
things like that. But you didn't know anything that was going on in my life, personally, or what I had
Yeah.
been going through. But I have the email. It was written, or was sent January 18th, 2020.
Wow.
And you sent to me, it was like literally like one sentence long or whatever, but it said, Tanisha, I wanted to tell you I saw a vision with you having a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want a child, but it was you in the future with her.
Wow.
That was the message.
Wow.
That was
And
the
look
message.
at today.
Yes. Look at today. So 3 years later, that was January 18th, 2020.
My God.
February 8th, well, 2 years later, I guess, 2022, I gave birth to my daughter.
Wow.
And I responded to you and I said, wow, this is an amazing vision, because I'm currently in the process of tracking my ovulation, trying to see if I can inseminate. I've been told that I was infertile for over 10 years. I have went to
Wow.
like holistic approaches. But this is my message to you. And I said, and now, I wake up today with this message from you. So you responded that you were going to believe in God and for me to have a beautiful baby. And you said peace and blessings. And that was 2020. And then 2021, God gave me the ability to be with child. And I had my daughter in 2022, just like your vision said. So
Wow.
look, if that's not the power,
People say I'm accurate, and they always go, if I want a word, I'm gonna come to you. And that's deep, because when I saw that you were pregnant online, I was like, oh,
yeah,
sweet. And I was like, it's gonna be a girl. It's gonna be a
yeah,
girl.
it
He's
and
beautiful
so it
too.
was. So it
He's
was. So
beautiful. So
that
beautiful.
just blew my mind. And I was just like, wow, then I read your bio and I was just like, everything really aligned with, the proof of the work that you do,
Mhm. That's
and
true.
being spirit led, whatever that may
Yes.
look like for you,
Yes.
your
Yes.
company and your
Yeah.
work. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
woo,
That's very true. That's
yeah.
very true. Wow, that's
So
amazing.
it's really amazing. It just gives me
Like I said a minute ago, I get messages about people, and you were just on my mind so strong. And a lot of times when I get the message, if it's someone that I'm not like you, we weren't in communication, I may DM or something, and I'll say just whatever as I start typing, whatever is gonna come up, I just
yeah.
say it. And I just felt so compelled to give you that message,
And I thank you for
and
that,
I
'cause
was just
that gave
like,
me hope,
wow.
because you know my journey,
Yes,
and everything like that. So I'm very spiritually inclined, and I try to surround myself with just having some people who can pray over me, that I believe in,
yes, yes,
that the spirit actually is with them,
yes,
because
yes.
everybody say they want to pray for you, but we're not gonna go there. Um,
Exactly. That's a whole nother story, a
that's
whole
a
nother show
whole other story.
about prayer.
Yeah, about prayer. So, when I got that message from you, it really gave me hope. And then just to see it all fall in line, I was just like, wow, just let me make sure that I keep Unitha in my list of people that I'm okay with praying for me. I
Mhm.
appreciate everybody prayer, but specific people, I appreciate their specific prayers. So I thank you for that. Now, you were one of the first speakers at Empower Her in
Yes.
2016. We
Woo.
had 3 guest speakers, and you were one of them. And I don't know if you recall, but the title of your speech was Greater is Coming.
Wow.
Greater is coming. And in that, you said to all of the guests there, know that greater is coming for everyone that is present in this room.
Mhm.
And at the time, I believe I had about 25 to 30 guests sitting in the room. And
Yeah, it was a
now
lot. Yeah.
it was a lot. It was a lot. I didn't
Mhm.
even think I was going to get that many. I think I said that in my
Mhm.
opening speech, but
Yes. It was a beautiful event.
thank you. And it's,
Mhm.
you know, when we're given this vision to, in my opinion, lead God's people. For me, I didn't believe that I was the person that was supposed to be
Mm.
speaking into the women. And that's why I wanted
Uh,
specific speakers, yourself,
yeah.
Nikki,
Yeah.
who continued to be my keynote speaker over the past 6 years,
Yes.
and even Tiara. I
Yeah.
wanted specific stories, specific
Yeah.
experience, specific who I feel would actually pour into these people. You guys gave that, and you gave it on a very
Yeah.
grand scale. So to
Mhm.
leave that event in 2016, knowing that greater is coming, to fast forward, Empower Her now annually has over 70 guests
Woo.
every single conference, right? Because I truly believe that even if it's not my story, I'm putting in front of these women other women who have a story. you know their story
Mhm.
should be moving you, their determination, their perseverance. All of this is going to allow you to walk away how I walked away, in my
Yes.
opinion, from that first conference. I'm hoping that every year the women that I put in front of you are going to know, like you said, greater is coming.
Yes. Yes.
I want to play something, because during your speech you played a song, and again, I don't
Yes.
know if you remember.
I do.
This was the song. So I want to play it, and hopefully you guys.
Jacurlin Carr. Yes, I can't pick it up. It's hard to hear it.
It's hard to hear it.
Is it on the
So
close to the mic?
the lyrics said, "If it had not been for the shaking,
Yes.
never would have been ready for the making."
Yes.
If it had not been for the beating,
Mm-hmm.
I would have never known how anointed I would be.
My God.
If it had not been for the pressing, I would not be able to walk into my destiny.
Mm,
He's preparing me for greater.
greater.
And ever since you played that song and you spoke about greater is coming, this song has truly been one of my go-tos for just all type of different facets in my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How has this song resonated in your life since then and even today?
Well, just like you, I've had challenges, I have ups and downs. Even since that time, Tanisha, there was a time that Pastor Owen and our children and I, we were homeless, and we were, thank God we were never on the street, but we stayed at a hotel for a bit, and we were going from
Wow.
house to house, and it was a very weird time. And it was like, oh, but I kept remembering songs like this to let me know where I am right now is not where I'm going to be. And it has inspired me to keep going.
Mm,
A lot of times we think that pit we're in, the pit can be dark and
mm,
the pit can be seem hopeless.
mm,
But we have to know that God is with us, an ever-present help in the time of trouble. And so I would lean on songs like that to say, greater is coming. Hold
yeah,
on. God
yeah.
is, you're not going to be left in the pit. And the good thing about that is there is a scripture about the pit, and it says, God came down to me when I was in the pit. He reached down to me. And when we're in those dark places, when we're in those challenging places, we need to know that God is coming to us. We
Mm,
don't have to rise up to get to God. We don't have to get ourselves together to come to God. We have to just be right where we are in that place saying,
yeah,
Lord, I need you. I don't know how we're going to get out of this. I don't know how you're going to provide, but I'm going to trust you that you are. And I know that greater is coming. And so for me, even you playing this song it's even timely because when you're in transition, you
yeah.
need to know that the shaking, the things that seem like it's taking you, it has a purpose, and the
Mhm,
purpose is for the greatness. In the pit is where you get all the refinement and you get all the character building, so that when you come out of the pit, I always say when you come out better. You come out in a farther place than you started. You don't come out right where you started. You come
yeah,
out down the road. You
yeah.
come out with some wisdom. You come out with some strategy. You
Mhm,
come out with a plan. And that's the beautiful thing, that songs like that help you to know that right where you are, don't give up. I always tell people it gets better. It
yeah,
gets better. I know
yeah.
it doesn't feel like it right now. I know it doesn't look like it, but no, it does get better when you lean on God and not in your own strength, trying to do things, trying to make
Mhm,
things happen. We wear ourselves out with that. But when
yeah.
we lean and depend on God and say, I trust you, and thank you for getting me out of this pit. Thank you for renewing my mind. Thank you for the strategy. Thank you for the plan. We got it. It comes to us right then. And we have the solution. The provision comes and
Yeah,
we're in our place.
yes.
And God has never failed me in that, and he'll never fail anyone who's watching this.
Whew, I love it. I love that. And I'm I'm thankful and grateful to know that in spite of, what you and Pastor O went through, in that journey of people knowing and people may not, may not have
Yeah.
known what you were going through, that again, that authenticity,
Mhm.
of leaning on God, being faithful to God's word, you stuck in that, and just continue to believe. And
Yeah.
for me, those are the people that I want to be following. Those are the people that I want leading me. Those are the people that I want, coaching me to get through similar experiences.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
I'm
real out
thankful
there.
that hopefully you are, on the other side. So,
Oh yeah, we're on the other side of that, thank God. But it made us, number one, I'll tell you this, to give people hope.
Mm.
As a couple, it drew us closer together because when we were in that pit, we weren't pointing fingers at each other. You did this, you did that, it's because of you. We said, okay, we're going to take joint responsibility. And then we're going to say, now what? Now what we going to do?
Yeah.
And we really was coming together without the judgment on each other, without the blame. And we worked through it, and we kept praying, and we kept depending on God, and we kept looking to each other. Did God say something to you? Did God say something to you? You know, we was like, what we going to do? How's God is going to work it? And we kept yielding to what we felt, how God was leading us in every moment. And we were led, you know, we just moved back into the city. Actually, it's very interesting. We just moved back last month, but for 4 years we were in Rosemead. We wwere outside of the city and would have to come in like an hour and a half to come in. And God provided, and in that place, I want to say this because sometimes when we're going through things in a transition, know that God gives you a space and a place for your healing from the trauma that you went through previously. So from that time of us going from place to place, and we finally got settled in Rosemead, that house was a house of healing.
Yeah.
It was a house of recovery. It's a house of safety. It was a house of joy, and where we could just,
yeah.
And I want people to look forward to that. Don't always think you got to go from thing to thing, and you constantly got to be moving and going and hustling and pushing and pushing and pushing. Look for the rest, receive the rest, receive the recovery that God is going to give you after every traumatic situation or every challenge or every drama. Expect the rest and the healing to come. And we entered into his rest, and that was a great sanctuary. But we also knew, just by how circumstances happened, that it was time for us to come back into the city. And again, it was right on time for what God is doing in our lives, to be back close to some family members and some friends, and to work and to all these things where we could easily get to things where before it would take us a challenge, where we could participate in things that we couldn't participate in before, because we were like, once we leave the city, we ain't coming back. So it was like, so it was that. So now what I sense, and this is again, when you're going through things, figure out what God is trying to do with you in that season. Right now, for Pastor O and I, it's the season of community. It's time for us to be in community. It's time for us to be with people, and to be around those we love and those who love us. And so it's important to understand, what is your season calling you to? It could be calling you to work, calling you to build, calling you to rest, calling you to recover, calling you to innovation, calling you to write. Whatever it is, be mindful and then be intentional to do what the season is calling for you to do.
I love that. I love that. So if you're listening, I want to pull out a couple of things. That one, as Minister Unitha said, know that it gets better. When you lean on God and really lean on him, he is going to give you a solution and a provision.
Yep.
Okay. Another thing that she said that I wrote down was, know that God gives you a space and a place for your healing.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I just have to take that in for a moment.
Yeah.
Something else you said was, you don't have to be going and going and going and going and going, right? That you may be called to just rest and to just be. And I think that in my story, I think about when God allowed me to be with child.
Yes.
It was an interesting time because I had just started getting booked for speaking engagements.
Yeah.
I had come back from speaking in Vegas. had some other speaking engagements set up. Empower Her was ready to just go, travel. I just had all these things that I was preparing for expansion, if you will.
Yes.
And then God gave me my child. I had a very difficult pregnancy. I had a difficult birth, and she's a blessing today, but it gave me that period of rest where nothing else mattered. I wasn't looking to be booked and busy. I wasn't trying to, figure out, when is the next event, so on and so forth. A lot of people didn't have access to me the way that they usually would.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think that you make a valid point of when God says rest, don't worry about what that will mean for business, for everybody else, but literally just rest and figure out what is supposed to happen in this season for you.
And even when you were talking, Tanisha, it's like everything you were doing before then, because I remember you went through the certification process. Was it NLP or something like that?
Yeah.
And you were going through all these things, and I was like, look at her, she's moving. And you were being booked and busy. I just remember following you, and whenever you have something, I try to support and buy your products and do all these things, because I believe in you, number one. I'm rooting for you, number two.
Thank you.
And you are a young woman, African-American woman, that I'm gonna always support my sisters. But I was seeing that even all of that was preparing you for motherhood. It was even preparing you for the challenge of carrying her, the challenge of the birth. And you had to rest after that. You had to. God called you to that rest because you had to, and you had to make that shift from being a single woman with no child to now having a child, which is a whole thing within itself. It's because motherhood takes a selflessness.
Yes, it does.
And if you in any shape, form, or fashion have any selfishness in you, having a child is going to take it from you. If you allow it, because some women don't, but if you allow it, it will pull from you things from yourself where it's like, oh man, it's not about me. It's not about me anymore. It's more so your choices and how you go through life is very different, because it's not just about you. You have another life, and you're always thinking, how will this decision today impact this child tomorrow? And so I think all of it was working together for your good. And even now, as you're stepping back out and going back into the work, because it's like because now you had your season of rest, you had your time to really be with your daughter, and now you're coming back with some wisdom, you're coming back with some perspectives that are very different. And so you will see that your coaching will change, your business focus will change, everything from who you have become. In the last 2 years, you've become a different and a better version of yourself. And I see it on you. When I looked at you, when you turned and came on the camera, I was like, oh my God, she looks so different. You look so much at peace and you're settled. So if anything else, that beautiful baby girl settled you. Doesn't mean everything's perfect. But you are settled in here in a way that before you were good, but it's very different. I can see it on you.
Very different. And it's interesting because I think that motherhood just allows you to put life into a whole different perspective. Even the relationship that I'm in, I think that allowed me to put life into a whole different perspective. Talking about not knowing that, the toxicity that could live in your life prior to something, it's like when you get into a place of peace or on a journey to peace, and be it my child and my relationship, those things aligning with, forms of peace, you just look back at everything that you went through,
Mm.
and it again, it helps you as well, helps me as a professional. Like you said, I now have something else that I can give to my clients, to my mentees, to my friends and my family that I didn't have before. So I
Yes.
appreciate the period of rest. I appreciate, the journey of becoming a mom. And even that, because when I came to you in 2011, that was a whole other form of figuring out this whole motherhood, if you
Yeah.
will. So it's just been perspective, and again, that rest period. So for those of you that are listening, if you're fighting against that period of rest, that period of
Mm.
stillness, that period of even being down in the valley, like there is so much growth in that time period, whether you see.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So if you don't follow Sister Unitha on Instagram or YouTube, please do, for sure.
Yes.
But you have a segment where you do the word of the day.
Yes.
That I try to tune in as often as I can, but you give so much, perspective, introspect, and nuggets and gems. Can you talk a little bit about that segment, why you created it, and what's the like mission behind it?
The word of the day was actually something God gave me years ago. I realized I was doing it on Facebook when
Mm.
Facebook first started. I used to write it out. It was like almost like a devotion. And then as I got a little more techie, I started videotaping it. And it's just how it came to me was give people a word to start their day, where
Mm.
they can start their day in positivity. Because I remember days that I started my day in a whole lot of mess, in
Yeah.
a whole lot of negativity.
Mhm.
And when I was a young woman, part of my testimony, um, I would get up and I would drink alcohol
Mm.
before I went to work.
Wow.
Um, and when I never would drink like during the day, but then when I get off, I'm running to the liquor store, then
Mm.
I'm smoking marijuana, and I never knew why. And one day it was like, why am I doing this? So the first thing I did was I stopped drinking. And then the next thing I did was stop using marijuana. But it was a coping mechanism for pain. It was what I was using for pain that I wasn't dealing with and I wasn't acknowledging. And when I started to acknowledge, when I started to see, I realized I was waking up in toxicity. I was waking up in my pain, and I was going through the day in my pain, and I couldn't wait to medicate that pain. And I never want anyone to feel like that. I,
Yeah.
I just didn't want anyone else to be in that much pain that you don't even know why you're doing something. You're not even conscious of the things that you're doing,
Mhm.
and that you're hurting yourself and you're damaging yourself and you're putting yourself at risk for so much. And so the word of the day is my gift of positivity, of light, of maybe let's get another perspective about something.
Yeah.
Let's look at ourselves and let's look at our lives from a different lens, because maybe it's not everybody else. Maybe it's
Mhm.
just me.
Mhm.
Maybe I do gotta tell somebody, get the heck up out my face, you know, and
Mhm.
still love because I'm putting up a boundary.
Mhm.
So the word of the day is just my gift to people and my thing to say, let's start off the day in love. Let's start off the day in positivity, because whatever situation you're living within, that there is a moment in space when you open up your screen to Instagram that you can get something positive that you
Oh
can
yeah.
take for the rest of your day.
Mhm. Mhm. And is that broadcasted on a certain day of the week? Is it actually every day, or what? When
It
does that?
was every day. It was
Okay.
every day. It was Monday through Friday. It's been a little more sporadic because I'm a
Okay.
little more busier at
Hmm.
work. But whenever I get a moment or get a chance, I do it. So if you go to my Instagram, it's UL Muhammad, the number one, UL Muhammad one. That's my Instagram handle. You can check me out, and even you can look at past because I have years and
Yeah.
years of words on the day on there.
Hmm.
I did a couple recently. Um, I started a new segment that I do. It's called Friday Tea. So come get the
Okay.
Friday tea with UL Muhammad. So I come with my tea and I give you a little version of word on the day with a little different spin. But
Okay. I
I'm
gotta look into that one.
yeah, that's the one I just started a couple weeks ago. So
Okay.
there's a couple weeks on there. So I'll have one for this Friday. And it's just my way again of just giving words of hope and again giving people the opportunity to think differently about themselves and about their life and about God.
Mm.
So that's what I do on my YouTube, which is I think it's either Unitha Muhammad or UL Muhammad. If you look
Okay.
under either one, you'll find me. That's a lot of my sermons, prophetic words, words of the day. You're going to catch a little bit of everything on there. So it's a really good tune in there. I'm going to be more active on my YouTube. I just had to
Okay.
get this first part of 2023 started. So I
Oh,
think
I
now
understand.
I'm settled, I'm in my groove, and I can create content and things like that again. Especially after Easter. I'm a minister, I'm a pastor, so
Mhm.
I Easter's our big Super Bowl of the year.
Yeah.
We so after Easter, I'm really gonna be able to create more content and things. So look forward to that. But yeah, just check me out. If you check out my Instagram or my YouTube, you'll catch me doing something. I do Bible studies on there, so that's another thing. I will be having a weekly Bible study that I go live on. So if you subscribe and get my notifications, you'll see when I'm going live as well.
Okay. And is there anything to come for the healing specialist in general, the company itself for 2023 or beyond?
We're still receiving clients. If you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you want some counseling or some coaching, it's me and my husband. We have another partner, Felicia. Felicia and I specialize in doing counseling and coaching and inner healing. We do that. If you're in your walk and you're trying to understand theology and spirituality, Pastor O comes in and helps with those theological things. And he comes in sometimes and works some things out with people. And he coaches young men and women. He does men and women. Felicia and I haven't had any male clients in a long time. So we do a lot of women.
Hmm.
And Pastor O comes in too. So it's you get your choice, and we walk with you in your life, and we have sessions where you can buy them in bulk, so you can buy 5 sessions or you can buy 7, or some people tend to want to do one at a time.
Okay.
But it's just up to you. We have a initial consultation, which is free.
Okay.
um, we have the initial consultation. It's usually with me, and I'll see what you're coming for, see, if we're able to help you or not. And we begin the sessions and we sign a contract. We're all very, very professional. You get a contract, you get homework, you get assessments.
Gotta have the homework.
Yeah, assessments, you get all of that. And God uses us individually and together. Oh, and Omar and I do couples counseling. So if you're single or if you're engaged or married, we do couples counseling as well. So
I
that's our
love it.
sweet spot. Mhm.
Yes, yes. It's good to know what the sweet spot is.
Yeah, yeah. Omar and I are really good at couples counseling. We really help couples good. By the end, we give you an assessment in all of our counseling and coaching. We give you an assessment and we tell you where we see that you are. And with couples, we'll say, hey, we see that this relationship will work. And in some cases, we may say, you know, you need to look at where you are, and maybe if this relationship is not the best thing for you in this season of your life. And that's hard, but we want to be honest with people
Yes.
so that they can be in the best place. You know how some people say, well, nobody never told me. We'll tell you, but we're going to tell you in love and let you know at the end of the day, you have to make that choice.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Well, look, there are a lot of services that Unitha and the healing specialist offer. If you are a person in need of a life purpose coach, you're in a place in life where you know, need some internal shifts, some mindset adjustments, or inner healing session, contact Sister Unitha and the healing specialist. Get a free consultation, as she said, just to kind of see, you know, what services you may need and how they can help you, be it individual or even, you know, couples. So I thank you so much, Unitha. Tune in for Friday Tea. Go back and watch the word of the day. The Bible study is coming soon. And some of the things that I just want to again reiterate that Unitha shared were, you know, when you're in a place of prayer and trying to hear from God, you know, identifying, is this something that you want me to share, or is it something you want me to pray about? Like, where am I on that spectrum? And if you are in the pit, know that when we are in those dark places, know that God is coming to us.
Yes.
We don't have to rise up to find him. Know that God is coming. And in the pit is where you get the refinement and character building.
Yes.
So when you come out, you're not where you started. You come out further down the road. So I love that. And I'm definitely going to take that with me. I know that when you all are tuning in, there's going to be a lot of nuggets and gems that you're going to take with you. So they can find you at thehealingspecialist.net, right?
Yes, thehealingspecialist.net. I also have my coaching coreworkulm.com. That's also there. So it's coreworkulm.com and thehealingspecialist.net. And that's where you can find me.
Nice.
All contact information is there. You send an email, you'll get a response within the 48 hours. So
okay. What is one thing you want to leave with the people?
I want to leave hope. Stand in hope and allow hope to rise within you. No matter where you are, no matter what you're facing, say, Lord, I receive your hope today. I receive your hope that things will get better and that I can make it. And when you look to your left and to your right, and when you open your eyes into the next day, you will find that hope is alive in you, and you will have everything you need to keep going.
Unitha, thank you so much for being on the Sankofa
Thank you for
series.
inviting me.
Yes, of course. Until then, slay, and that's to simply live as you in all that you do. Don't forget to reach back to your people and bring them to the forefront when possible. I'm Miss T. This is the Empower Her Experience Sankofa series, and I'm out.
Yeah.